How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. We're still working on the Farmall A, Super A. We're still trying to get spark, and I posted a video on what I had done already and kind of to get suggestions from everybody. And I'm going to try one thing right here just to try to eliminate something, and it's get ground to the opposite side of the points, because I'm almost thinking that the plate that the points set on is not grounded out, and in that case I wouldn't get spark to the points because it would have no place to ground. And I do believe that's how them points work. When they ground out, that's where you're getting your spark. So what we're going to do is I'm going to clean one of the bolt holes on the engine, because I want a direct ground right to the motor, to the points. And I got a small alligator clip here that I'm going to put on the points and up to the motor. So basically all I'm doing now is cleaning out one of these bolt holes, and I'm going to get a new bolt put in here so I have a really good ground to ground this tractor to. Okay, my plan is to take a thread cleaner. I blew this hole out with a little bit of air and get this bolt hole here cleaned out so I can get a good bolt put in here, and I'll be able to have a place to clip to get a good ground to the distributor. And what I'm going to do at the distributor is I'm going to put it on the opposite side of the points, not the one that has the power. I'm going to put it on the opposite side so I have ground on that coil. And I'll show you that when I get ready to hook it up. But meanwhile, we're just going to go ahead and clean this hole out really good, because we want to make sure that we get a good ground on this. Okay, you can see where I hooked the alligator clamp on the opposite side of the points. This is the hot side here, so I hooked the alligator clamp on the other side where the points got to touch. Because if that plate underneath there is not grounded out, I mean, I don't know how it wouldn't be, but it's just a chance that it may not be. And every time I run that thing, I wouldn't see spark in there. So, I mean, it's just something I'm trying just to find out. And then I run the other part of the alligator clamp up here and hooked it onto that new bolt, which I cleaned the hole out, and hopefully that gives us a really good ground. So now we're going to try it to see if we get any spark in there. I don't know if you guys seen that, but I think it got spark. Let me turn some lights off here. Alright, I'm seeing a little bit of spark on them points now. More than I did before. So what we're going to do now is, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this whole plate out of here and clean all the connections, and everywhere this plate inside of here is bolted on. And I think it'd be this piece here, the little clips that clip the cap on, I think is what holds it down. So I'm going to pull them clips off, pull all the points back out, and clean that and put it back together. Now there is one more little test that we could do to see if those points are working properly. Is we could get our little tester and stick on this guy here and then turn it over, and if it blinks, then those points are working right. Now before, when I did it, it did not blink. The little 12-volt tester did not blink. So let's try it again and see if it will blink. So it is blinking. It's hard to see, but it is blinking inside there. So it is working. I'm going to go ahead and clean this out inside to make sure that that is getting good ground. So that's my next step. Okay, this is the little plate that the points were setting on right here. And this is where I thought maybe it wasn't getting ground from these 3 bolts that went in there. So I'm going to clean these and sand them down a little bit. And then in the distributor, the same way. And I was looking at this piece to make sure there's no cracks or anything in it. This is what went through the distributor that your points bolt to. I wanted to make sure there was no cracks or anything in there. Anyway, it could short out. And even the bolts are a little corroded, but we're going to clean all this up and put it back together. And I'll show you on the machine, on the distributor, where I'm going to clean too. You can see right here where that bolt came through. It's rusted in there. It's not so rusted there, but it had some oil or grease on it right there. And behind this one on the lower side, I'm going to sand that inside of that distributor out and clean that all out real good. So I know I'm getting a good ground on that plate. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. Okay, what I've done is I've taken all these parts where they hook to the distributor. I've sanded these down. These 3 here. I took the little point, the little backing for the points. This is the other side of the points right here. I actually took the old bolt out and got a new bolt. This one was kind of getting stripped. It was a flathead. And I put a Phillips one in there and cleaned out them threads and sanded underneath of this. So this is getting good contact to that plate. And I took the condenser off and I sanded underneath of it and make sure it gets good connection to that. So, and what I've done with the inside, now the inside of the distributor, I had actually sanded all this out and cleaned that real good. I sprayed some WD-40 back in there and blew it out with the air hose because I know that's supposed to move back in there. And it looked a little rusty, so I sprayed it down with some WD-40 and then hosed it out with some air. So hopefully our ground, this will be one spot I don't have to come back to, will be this distributor, because I don't think there's much more I can do in there to help it out besides maybe take these off and try to ground a little more, you know, just sand them down inside. I mean, if it's still not getting ground, but that distributor, all that stuff going through that distributor got to be grounding somewhere. It has to be. So I was thinking maybe there would have been my worst part. So I got it clean. Now we're just going to get it back together and get the point set and see if we got any spark. Okay, I got it all back together and I put it on the side of the motor and I have spark. More than I've ever seen before. But it don't look like it's a big beautiful blue spark. So, but I'm not sure whether this thing's supposed to have a big beautiful blue spark or not. But I think what I need to do is maybe try to give it a shot and just see if it may start. But it is sparking now, and that's the main thing. I didn't have any spark before at all. So could it have been that plate? I don't know, but we're going to put it back, get the spark plug put back in it. And I'm going to give it a try and see if it'll start. Alright, I tried it a couple times, but I think my battery needs to set and charge a little bit. So I just got it on a very small 2 amp charge. I'm going to let this thing charge up and then we're going to come back and give it another try. Meanwhile, I pulled another spark plug out and put it on the side of the motor, and we are getting spark to the plugs. So whether it's not turning over fast enough or I was trying to shoot it with a little bit of ether. I want to hear it fire. If it fires, we'll do some more work to the carburetor and we'll see if we can get it running. It should run now. The spark don't look real blue, and I don't know why, but at least we're getting spark up to the plug now. That's a big thing, to get spark up to the plug. So we're going to let it sit here a little while, let things cool off, and then I'm going to see if I can get somebody to give me a hand shooting that thing with some ether while it's turning over. I don't like to hit any motors with ether unless it's turned over so it can suck it up in there. So we're going to let her charge up, we're going back, and we're going to hit it again. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start cleaning up everything, the battery terminals, this ground going over to the tractor. We're going to sand it down, make sure it's clean, and we're going to be using some of this grease, dielectric grease. I think I'm saying that right, I'm not sure, but all this stuff, and I went and picked up a new cleaner for my battery terminals. Now most of this stuff that I'm using, I'll leave links below, so if you guys want to pick this stuff up like on Amazon, being that I'm an Amazon associate now, I can leave links to this and I get a small commission off of it. So we're going to be cleaning up the battery and all the grounds, all the wires, we're going to pull them all apart and start cleaning them up, because we have a spark, but we have a real weak spark. So we're going to clean them up and get this stuff going here. Hopefully we can get that spark up. Okay, I changed the ground. The ground was up here. I changed it down there so it's into the body a lot better, and it's not laying across the plate. I think it'd get a better ground down there. But we put a new bolt in there. Well, we cleaned the bolt up, put a new washer on it, and clamped it on there. I think that's going to be a lot better ground than what we had. Hopefully it's going to help out. So we're just going to keep going on these wires and cleaning and putting them back on. Okay, I pulled the wire off. It went from the distributor to the negative side of that terminal, and I'm replacing it with a new one too. Trying to clean up everything, make sure everything gets a good connection. Okay, right now I'm going to take this one off that went to the positive side of the terminal, and we're going to replace it too. We're going to put a new one in there. I'm only doing these one at a time, and I know there were some other ways that you guys wanted me to wire this up, and I know my brother's on there, Hillbilly Designs, and he asked me to switch the this one going to the distributor from the negative to the positive and put this one to the positive and try it out. Well, this wire here, I know it didn't go over there because it wasn't long enough. But before I try anything, I want to make sure that I have all new wires and that they're exactly the way they were when I took it apart. Because I know before, this tractor ran the way it was wired up. So that's the reason why I haven't really switched too much around yet. And what I'm doing now is just making sure that I'm getting a good connection to everything. So let's go ahead and replace this little wire now. We're going to make it a little bit longer so it'll reach the other side of that distributor though. Okay, here's the new wire we're putting in there. And what I'm doing is just taking this grease and putting it on the tip of this wire. And this is going to keep it from corroding and keep it in good shape. Now I had a couple different, these little fittings, these little connectors here. These ones feel a little too loose and these ones feel a little too tight, but they go in there pretty good. They're a lot tighter than the blue ones, so that's why I've been using the red ones. And if you get that just right in there, give it a nice little squish, and we have a good connection there. so that's going to be a good connection. So we're just going to go ahead and put the other side on. It has to be a plug-in, so we're going to get us a plug-in and put on that side, and we'll have that little wire done. But I've been using this stuff here on all my wires when we put them together with the connections. Okay, we got this new wire on there, and now we got this new wire on there that goes up the other side of the coil. I'm going to take this bolt right here off, because when I cleaned the inside of that distributor, I got a little better spark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bolt right here out, and I'm going to clean. This is to hold the distributor down. Well, I'm going to take this guy out, and I'm going to clean that thing real good where it hooks from the distributor to the motor, because maybe that'll help me out too. I don't know. I'm just trying here. I still think it's a ground. I'm going to clean this up real good and clean that up, and that where it gets good connection to this distributor. Alright, I was down in here cleaning this off right here. I was just taking a brush, cleaning it up and down, and I seen my distributor move. So we know it could be out of time now a little bit. The other bolt in the back is not holding anything. It's loose. There's two of these clamps. There's two of these little clamps in that distributor, and this one must have been the easiest one for them to get to, so it was the only one that was tight. The back one's not tight at all. It's exactly how the spark plugs were. The two inside spark plugs were really hard to get out because they were the easiest ones to tighten. These two over here, I almost took them out with my fingers. I mean, they were just a lot looser. But that's just having different people working on a tractor, a lot of different people, which I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I suppose we'll have to put it in time. I don't know too much about that, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. So I'm going to keep on cleaning. I'm going to get this on there. I almost think that that might be part of my problem, the spark. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, I got pretty much everything I could. Needed replaced, wires clean, battery terminals clean. Everything's cleaned up. And it seems like it's, hopefully it's going to be okay. We don't have any power to our negative or our distributor now for some reason. Let's see here. That helped I turned it on. So let's see. I don't have any power there, but I got power there, and I don't have power on that side. Got power there. I got power there. Now I do believe that this light, if I crank it over, it's supposed to blink. Well, we're going to try turning it over. So now we're definitely getting a blink on that light. So we may be going to get somewhere on this thing this time. I don't know. So I'm going to, before I really start cranking on anything, I'm going to pull one spark plug out and see if we have any spark on that thing. And we're looking for that blue spark. Hopefully we could get that blue spark. Well, I'll tell you one thing, these plugs have been in and out more than enough times. We won't have any problem with them anymore. So we're going to pull this spark plug out. See, one of the easiest ones to get to. And I'm going to put it up against the motor. I sanded down a little place right there against the motor. I'm going to lay it up against there, and we're going to give it a try and see if we get any spark. I don't have a real strong spark. A very, very light spark on there. Let me turn some lights off. It's easier to see without the lights all on. Get you guys up here where you can see. Okay, we should be able to see it right there. I'll show you what kind of spark I have. It looks blue in the camera, but it looks more yellow to me. I don't know, it's looking blue, so it might fire. I don't know. We're going to give it a try. Alright, I think I got everything hooked up there. I need to hook up. The gas is on. Try to clean some of it off. And I am going to give it a shot of ether just to see if it's going to fire. Well, we got a fire. Well, we did get a fire out of it. One poof of smoke out of the top. So we're going to let this thing cool down a little bit, and then we'll give it another try. Well, we got smoke rolling out the top of it. My batteries just don't think it's holding up that good. Well, we did get fire that time. I'd let that thing warm up just a little bit. I know it's got oil in it. It's not going to hurt it to run a little bit. It don't sound too bad. I think I can get the idle down a little bit on it, but I don't know if we're quite out of time on that thing. So I'm going to let it just warm up a little bit, and then I'm going to shut her back down. I'm just tickled to death this thing's running. You know, know how bad it was for me to shut that thing off. I couldn't wait for it to start running, so I think we're okay on everything now. So we'll let it cool down and then we'll try to start it up again and see how it does the second start. Hopefully it does a lot better. Since we got some gas to flow through it now, it should be okay. Alright, on that first start up, the motor is nice and warm now, so we know it's going to run. So, you know, I don't know honestly what was really wrong with it. We replaced everything, but I'm going to say that a lot of the stuff that we took off was probably still good, but Kevin keeps everything. All the stuff that we took off, we still have. I know the plug wires were no good, but I don't even see, this cap's not burnt inside. It actually looks good inside. So we're going to have an extra cap, rotor button, and some of the other parts we'll still have. I'm not so sure about the points, but I think that relay might have been okay too, or that resistor, 12 to 6. I think it would have been okay, but we have an extra one. We're going to be getting the oil out of this guy, getting fresh oil in it. That's going to be one step, and then I know you guys said something about the carburetor gator. You mentioned that carburetor gasket. I'm going to replace that gasket right there, but I figured I'd replace the gasket when I replace this piece here, because I'm going to take it back off and we're going to be cleaning this air filter out. And I did go pick up some gasket material. Let me show you what I picked up, and they tell me this is really good for those gaskets. This is the gasket material I picked up, that I can make some gaskets for this thing. So, and it's good for gas. So this should work out pretty good on that carburetor. I will be leaving some links in the description down below of some of the stuff that I use to work with, like maybe the gasket material, battery terminal cleaners, some of that, this stuff here is pretty awesome. I have a couple tubes of this stuff, different types, but this stuff is really good for the wiring, keep them from corroding and stuff. I literally got some of the other underneath of all the spark plug wires and everything, just to keep it from corroding up, and hopefully we don't have the problems we had before. So she runs. And I am just tickled to death that she runs. So we're going to wait for just a little bit, and I'm going to try to start it again and see if it fires up. Hopefully it'll fire right up and we won't have any problem. And like I said, we'll get on to some other stuff that needs done to this thing. Alright, this guy's been setting for a while. It's nice and cool now. So we're going to try it again and see if it'll fire up. Hopefully everything works out fine. Okay, I think we have fire. I think she's going to run just fine. So now we're going to get on with the rest of the stuff we need to do to her. So, hey, I would like to tell everybody thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment if you'd like. Till next time.